Hey y'all, welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. My name is Diane and today is September 11th, 2018. I am coming to you from Richmond, Texas, where I work and live with my husband and two boys and a dog, and where all of things Suburban Stitcher happen. Yarn dyeing and knitting, podcasting, and the like. So I hope that everyone has had a great couple of weeks. I'm not exactly sure what episode this is, 152-ish maybe. I think it's 152. Anyway, I have had a super busy couple of weeks. I was prepping for a trunk show that I had last weekend at the Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas. It was a huge success, so I want to thank everyone that was there. And I want to thank Sharon, the owner, for an absolutely amazing time. Her generosity and hospitality made the weekend so lovely. So thank you to those knitters that traveled from as far as Dallas and Beaumont and all over the Houston area. I am so grateful. I can't believe that this is what I get to do and that people from all over come to see me. It's like still kind of blows my mind. So thank you so much. I feel like I'm very red, but I'm not. I don't feel like I'm that red in real life. I even white balanced. Maybe it's the hair. The hair is very blonde right now. I have been sick. One reason that I did not podcast midweek last week, I was just very, very ill. And I put out a little thing on Instagram like, you know, some days you just have to muscle through it. And I did. And then I also had to stop muscling through it later in the week and then after my trunk show because I was legit sick. So a little bit of tea today. This is David's Tea Chai and Mighty, which is a perennial favorite of mine. It felt like the weather is maybe a little bit starting to cool off, but mostly that's just because we've had so much rain. So anyway, let's talk finished objects. Let's talk knitting. I don't think I have any other announcements. I don't think so. So let's talk knitting because that's why we're here. I have two finished objects. Two finished objects. I can't believe it. I finished my indigo leaves socks. And this is a sport/DK sock pattern by Joji Locatelli. So I blocked them on here because the lace motif definitely needs blocking, but I want to pull this off so you can see the design. It has this beautiful leaf motif that runs up the front of the sock. It was the loveliest thing to knit. So well written, so beautiful. 48 stitch sport/DK weight yarn made for very quick knitting. I finished the first sock several months ago as a test knit for Joji, and then I just finished the second one. I am in one carpool line a day now. I haven't done that for a little over a year, and I'm back to carpooling a little bit every day. And so that means I get a little bit of knitting time every day. And I have been using that to finish up some of these single socks that have been on my needles for so very long. So this was the first beneficiary of that. The yarn that I used is Madeline Tosh work sock in the Field Notes colorway, and it's a 200 yard skein. They call it a heavy fingering to a sport weight, and I would say it's a plump sport. But it is, I have a lot left. I used about 125 grams, and so I have about, this was a heavy skein, so I have a little over 80 grams left. I could easily make a little pair of shorty socks, you know, like rollers or something would be great. I actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, that might happen maybe as a gift for someone. So yeah, so that is my first finished object. My second finished object is also several months in coming, but it is very, very, very exciting. I finished everything except the buttons. I have finished my Carbeth cardigan. So I would just like to pause and remind everyone that is the second sweater that I have finished this year, and only the 5th sweater ever that I've ever finished, adult sweater garment. So I have, like I said, I've done everything except for the buttons. And I will put this on. I have blocked it, woven in all of the 8 billion ends. So here it is. I will stand up a little bit so you can see how it fits. And I'm gonna have to do, once I get buttons, I will do like my official finished object photo. So you can definitely see this little detail right here that I love, this big collar that I love. So some things to note about this sweater. One is I love this yarn so much. This is Quince & Co. Phoebe is the base. It's their only DK weight base that's not a linen, I think, or maybe it's their only DK weight. 301 yards per skein. It's not a superwash. This was the Mars colorway. So Quince & Co. Phoebe. And it's this kind of brick red. It's not quite as red as the camera is wanting to show right there. It's a little more brown. But so I love, you know, this collar. I think for most of us, that's like one of the main reasons we knit it, right? When she's wearing that collar and it's all buttoned up and it's just like standing up. It's just so great. I loved the croppedness of it. I will say that definitely trust Kate if you are wondering, oh my gosh, that is so cropped. It is, but like for me, my widest part of my body is my hips, and I plan on wearing this either with dresses that are a little bit fitted and then flare out, or with my jeans and like a longer tank top, so that, and then this over it, or a longer shirt of some sort that's again a little more fitted, and then this comes up a bit higher, gives me a waist, so it should be quite flattering. I plan on finding some buttons, hopefully, that aren't too contrasty from the color of the sweater. I'd like them to sort of coordinate. That would be nice. I will say that it's a little bit, like, I kind of wish that I had knit it in a toothier yarn. Kate's recommended yarn was her yarn, and I believe it's like a woolen spun kind of toothy yarn, and I can see the benefit to that. So that's one, you know, if I ever knit it again. I also would consider knitting a size smaller. I feel like it's a little too roomy in this part for me, which again, it's supposed to be, so it's hard to know if that's just the pattern or if it's the size, but I love it. I think it's going to be a super fun fall and winter layer. It's very warm. I have the cuffs up right here, but blocked, you know, they come to there, so it's a nice long cuff. But I actually, I even bought a long sleeve t-shirt, 2 long sleeve t-shirts that were striped, kind of neutrally stripes, so that I could wear it just like she has it styled with the little stripe sleeves sticking out, because I think that's so stinking cute. I'm going to take this off because I live in Texas and I'm in a room with no fan and it's blazing hot here and super humid. So I'm gonna call this done. Like I said, you know, whenever I get buttons, I will maybe insert my little finished video or something, but it is done. Oh, okay, so you want a little more details about this. I knit the size 3, but I think I ended up doing the size 4 for the sleeves, which also could account for some of that roominess like in this area, so I recognize that as well. I bought 6 skeins of yarn and I alternated. I held 2 strands together the entire time. I didn't alternate skeins because I was holding the 2 together, and so that was kind of forcing the alternating. But when it was all said and done, I had 20 grams left of yarn. So I bought the perfect amount and used almost all of it. I knit everything exactly to pattern. I did not shorten anything. I did not make the only modification that I made, and to be honest, it was accidental, was that I knit the size 4 sleeves and a size 3 everything else, but I made no modifications. And like I said earlier, I am very glad about the croppedness. I love that. And for me and my body style, that actually will flatter me more than having something that was a little bit longer will. So I am very excited to have this. I need to get some buttons. It will be done. I will bring it to Canada for Knit City and Rhinebeck in October, and that will be lovely. So 2 finished objects, which is super exciting. Works in progress this week. I also still have that cold, so I apologize. I have a couple of works in progress. Technically, I've worked on like 4 different things, but really only 2 of them have gotten any sort of like concentrated effort. The first that I will show you is I have had this pair of socks on the go since last September. I think I started, well, I just looked, I started them September 17th of last year on my vacation that Josh and I went on last year. So these are the Obliviate socks. It's a pattern by Sarah Stevens of Graceland Wool, and I knit the first one as a test knit. Seems to be a theme. I knit the first one as a test knit and then never knit the second one. And it was sort of a combination of, I don't love knitting this particular yarn for socks on these needles. These are Luca wooden needles size 1. They're beautiful. I absolutely love the needles, and I would like to try them again on a different pair of socks that was not being knit on a sock blank. But that being said, the sock blank itself is gorgeous and the socks are gorgeous. So I finished the first one, and I'm so sorry I don't have the first one over here, but here's the second, or here's the sock blank. I've kind of tied it up here so it doesn't get all tangled everywhere, but it's just a lot of this kind of pinky mauve color and a bunch of speckles. And so I am almost to the point where I need to put in the heel. This sock pattern has a little bit of texture on the front and some cables on the back. They're kind of hard to see with this yarn, but it's very pretty. This definitely fits my desire these days for some, I guess some like not quite as crazy stripy socks. I have so many of those, and I'm needing some that are a little more sedate. So this was already on the needles. The pattern is I've got it memorized, and so I've got one more repeat of that cable part, then I do the heel, and then I will be on a very simple pattern all the way down the foot. So I'm definitely on the downhill of this one. I would love to finish it by the next podcast. That would be great. If I work a little bit every day, I should be able to get that done. So, and this is in a Woodsy and Wild bag that I purchased last year. So that is a work in progress. The thing that I have worked on the most, stretch. The thing that I have worked on the most is a pattern that I'm absolutely addicted to, like 100% cannot put it down, and it is called Time Trades. It's by Caitlin Hunter. I dyed up a couple of new colorways a few weeks ago specifically for this pattern. I think I've talked about it before. I had wanted to knit this really since this spring. I helped some people pick out yarn for it at the Hill Country Weavers Retreat in March, and I love it. So here is her original, and I am knitting it out of pinks and grays, which is pretty par for the course for me. So I have chosen it uses 5 mini skeins and 2 full skeins of yarn. So I did kind of a gray fade of mini skeins. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, so I started with coal, then ashes, then, and you can see I have used almost all of these little mini skeins, all except for 2 grams. This is a new color called Smoke. Coal, ashes, smoke, and then whisper, which is my lightest gray. So I feel like that was very happy with this fade of grays. And then the 5th mini skein, because I needed it to start talking to the pinks in the pattern, is Demure. So that's that. And then the 2 full skeins are Lanyap. This is wound up. This is a new kind of magenta speckle. And Evangeline. And all of these are Suburban Stitcher yarn. So this is, well, you can't see. Let me show you what I've got so far. Like I said, I've just been zooming on it. I feel like I've cast this on like a week or a week and a half ago, and I'm almost done with all the mini skeins. So it starts, it's just a big long rectangular wrap. It starts at this gray end and kind of works through all the colors in this beautiful feather and fan. And I have just started adding in the pink. So I've done the first 4 repeats of this section. I've got 1 more repeat to go where, and then I will actually be using, in this 5th repeat, I'll be using the Demure and the Lanyap. So that's super exciting. I cannot wait to see how Lanyap knits up. I'm so excited by that color. So that's Time Trades. I hope to, maybe as this gets a little bit closer to being done, I hope to dye up some kits and put those in the shop for you. I think that would be super fun for anyone who wants to knit one just like me. So if you're interested, give me another week or 2 and I will try to get some kits up for you. That's one where I'm not going to accept immediately custom orders because I do have plans to have the kits. So you'll just have to be a little bit patient with me. So that's Time Trades, and that has been taking almost all of my knitting time. So I am knitting 2 projects or attempting to knit. Technically, I applied for 3, which is ridiculous. But I have cast on officially 2 projects for the Hohi Fall Knit Along, and I think that the submissions for saying what you want to knit are closed, but we have until November 30th to knit. But if you didn't sign up, go ahead and just pick a pattern and knit along with us. You can still chat in the threads, and you're just not, all that means is that you're not eligible for prizes. But you can still go and chat in the threads, find encouragement, and yeah, that would be totally amazing. So I have cast on for a pair of beach grass socks, and these are, it's kind of fun. I picked these because I have this new 75-25 yarn base that I've been wanting to test out, and I've dyed up some colors on it. The reason it intrigues me is because it's a 2-ply, so it's kind of bumpy like the 80-20, but it has the yardage of the 75-25 that I use. So it's still 460 yards, but it's only a 2-ply instead of a 4-ply. It's not quite as thick as like the 80-20 that people think of. So I'm just intrigued to see how I like it, basically. There's pros and cons. One of the big pros is that it would look totally different than my Pure base, because right now my sock and my Pure are nearly impossible to tell apart in the dye pots. So anyway, this is my new colorway that's called That Old Chestnut. And so I've just started it right there. So sorry about the color today, guys. It's so rainy and overcast. This is kind of a reddish brown color, which is, I think, is coming across. I just don't think you're getting all of the tonality of it, maybe. So, yeah, so I'm just barely started. I haven't even finished the cuff, but, so like I was saying, one, this pattern intrigues me because it's a sock pattern and I want to try out this sock base. The second reason it intrigues me is because, or that it excites me, is because I was with Hohi last fall at a retreat when she was designing these socks. So it feels like that would be really fun to knit them. So like I said, obviously that is not very far. My first sock that I am really trying to finish is going to be that Obliviate sock that I showed you a little bit ago. And once I finish that one, then this will become my travel purse project. And I have, you know, several trips this fall, so that'll be perfect travel knitting for those trips. And then the last work in progress is also a project that I cast on for that knit along. And it is the Washed Out shawl, which is by Hohi. And it is, okay, yeah, this doesn't show anything. This, I didn't print the front picture, but okay, so I think this is the best one. I accidentally printed this on label paper, which is super awesome of me. But you get the idea. So it's that shawl that she came out with in February or March, I believe. It's this kind of a fade and then this pretty lace border. It's an asymmetrical triangle. It's knit from end to end, and you start with a little point and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I have just barely started it. So this is my beginning right here. This looks like it's a black, but it's a very, oh, there we go. That's very spot on to the color, very dark purple. It is a color by Madeline Tosh, and it's called 11 Dark, 11 as in Stranger Things. So this is 11 Dark. My second, these are all Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light. My second color is all, well, okay, I should say all of these are from their Stranger Things collection. This one is called Meet Me in the Basement. And it's this really pretty purpley brown, pinky brown color with some golds and some greens. So we've got that. And then this is 11 Light. So I just thought that would be super fun. It's totally my colors. It's Things themed, which is a fun show that my husband and I both like. So I just thought that was really, really fun. And this purple has little bitty specks. I don't know if that's going to come across, but it has little bitty light pops that are almost the exact same, like pinky brown that the second color is. So it's gonna definitely be like lines at each color transition, because it's not going to be faded as much as it will be more color blocked, but I'm very excited about it. So that is that. And yes, that's it for works in progress. Hi. So, new outfit, because yesterday my battery died, my camera stopped working, then there was life and family that had to happen. So it is a new day, and I want to talk to you about Hello Lovelies and shop news. I have a couple of Hello Lovelies to discuss. The first, I think I was gonna start with this yesterday. The first is kind of exciting. It's not new yarn, it's just in a new form. And that is because I sent off 3 skeins of yarn to be wound into sock tubes. I'm so excited. So I contacted, and this is a service that she regularly offers in her online store. I contacted the lovely Anyone Can Quilt on Instagram, and she is it McMurray Fiber Goods? I'll have to put a link in the show notes. But I sent her 3 skeins of yarn to make some sock tubes for me for some socks. These are all going to be gifts. This is a lovely variegated skein that I got years and years and years ago. It is by Unwind Yarn Company, and I think it was from the club that she did with another crafty girl. But yeah, so this was 1 skein right here, and then I sent her 2 skein. This one is a gift for a family member, and then I sent her 2 skeins of like an opal ragia style yarn, and I got back 2 sock tubes of those. So I know that this one was the ragia, like the Arnie and Carlos, like the first Arnie and Carlos series. So that looks really fun. And then this one I believe is an opal Little Prince colorway, but I could be mistaken. So that's exciting. So I'm gonna finish the pair of socks that I have on the needles right now, and then I will be picking up heels, toes, and cuffs for these. So that's really fun. Well, for all 3 of these. These will go first because they're a gift, and then the others will probably get done and then set aside for Christmas presents. So I'm really excited about this, and depending on how I like it, I could easily see myself sending her 3 or 4 more skeins of yarn to get some socks made. It's such a lovely, lovely service and great for Christmas gifts. So very excited about that. So that is Hello Lovelies. And then I also picked up a few things at the Modern Skein after my trunk show this last weekend. So I had called ahead to her and asked her to set aside the newest issue of Pom Pom, which I think is absolutely beautiful. I love the garments in it. It's interesting because like I love these garments, but yet I could see maybe knitting. This one actually intrigues me. This cowl, I could see knitting. I could see maybe knitting like the fingerless mitts. But then some of the other ones, it's a little bit hard to tell exactly. Like the photography is beautiful, but it's beautiful photography. It's hard to tell from like a knitter standpoint. Some of these, like how exactly they wear. There's just a lot of shadows, particularly on the garments. This hat though, where is it? So sorry, this makes for great TV, right? The article with Fiona Alice was beautiful. Not Fiona Alice. Why did I say Fiona Alice? It is Viola Yarns. Viola Yarns. Emily of Viola Yarns. Oh my gosh, I'm like end of the day, losing my mind. There are these pretty hat and like fingerless mitt combo in here that for some reason I cannot find. It's like the second page. I went all the way from the end. So I think those are very pretty. I think that would be something that would be nice in my wardrobe. The other ones, like this is epically gorgeous, but I don't know that I would wear it realistically. But it's a beautiful issue. So, and I enjoy collecting these. So that's Pom Pom 26. And then I picked up some hedgehog yarn. She had some of the new colors and she had them in skinny singles and the kid silk lace, which is my favorite. So I picked up 2 new colorways. This one is called Hawk, and I picked it up on the mohair and on the skinny singles. I love these like pops of green and like all of the kind of purpley plums that are in there. And I picked up this skein called Plump and the skinny singles to go with it. I just thought that makes a beautiful, beautiful combo for a shawl. So I'll have to find something to make out of that. And that's really it for Hello Lovelies this week. I didn't do a whole lot of damage, shockingly. Okay, what else? Shop news. Okay, so I have a couple of things that I want to highlight in the shop. One that is in there now through the end of the month, and that is this year's fundraiser skein. It is called Healing and Hope, and it is a skein that we are doing as a fundraiser for the Fort Bend County Women's Center, which is the nonprofit women's shelter and organization that my husband works for. If you watched the Fiber Friends tag a few episodes ago where Josh sat in with me, and then at the very end he described what he did, this skein is to benefit his agency, and they are a 503, whatever the official nonprofit. I don't know the numbers. I'm saying that very officially like I know. I don't know, but they're whatever the like official government nonprofit is. You can get a tax thing, you know, the whole official thing. That's what they are. And so yeah, so their logo colors are purple and teal, and I used those to make this skein. So this is called Healing and Hope. This is a skein of yarn that will be offered only this month. It's been up since September 1st, and it will be up for pre-order through the end of the month. And then at the beginning of October, I will make that donation of all of the money over to the women's shelter. And this skein of yarn is dyed in a manner that it will micro stripe. So you'll have little bitty purple and teal micro striping throughout. It is only offered on my 75/25 sock yarn, the 4-ply. And I just think it's really fun. It's got some purple with some light purple speckles and teal with some light teal speckles. And I think it would make super groovy pair of socks, or because it is definitely dyed in a way that it might pool. I have no idea what it will do on larger circumferences, but it should be fun and very pretty. And it's going to an amazing cause. So you are helping homeless women who are in crisis and helping them heal and giving them hope. So this is the Healing and Hope skein. Again, available through the end of the month, September 2018. So another skein of yarn, it's really a sock set that's going into the shop. I will probably take pictures of it today, hopefully get it up there today, Wednesday, or Thursday, tomorrow, Thursday. But it is a fun, limited edition sock set, Harry Potter inspired. And it's just because I have recently decided that my spirit animal is Luna Lovegood. I love that character in Harry Potter so much. I love her craziness and her exasperating honesty. I don't know. I love her. I love her little sayings and her little quips. I recently just bought a bracelet that says, "You're just as sane as I am," which is kind of how I feel sometimes. Like, you know what? If you think you're crazy, like you think I'm crazy, well, you're just as sane as I am. Like, I love that sentiment. So I dyed up this skein of yarn that reminds me of her so much. And it is called Spectra Specs, which are the glasses, like the hand glass things that she wears. So this is the main color, and it's this really pretty purpley orchid background with these like teal and purple and blue speckles. And it is going to come with a coordinating teal accent for heel, toes, and cuffs, or for scrap blankets if you don't knit socks or whatever. So this is called Spectra Specs, and it will be in the shop within the next 24 hours. Maybe even by the time this is up, hopefully it's in there. But yeah, so that is, like I said, it's limited edition. I don't know if I'll dye it again. I may or I may not. But there will be a very limited number of these sock sets available, and they will be ready to ship. I'm kind of thinking that I might offer sock sets, like maybe one new color a week for a few weeks, and I'm pretty sure they're going to all be Harry Potter themed because it's fall and Harry Potter just went back to school on September 1st. And I feel like that's when I really get into Harry Potter listening mode, and I think we all do, right? If you enjoy those stories, I think this is the time of year where we find ourselves rereading the books or watching the movies. So yeah, so I'm excited to have this little color. I think it's my first ever Harry Potter colorway, and it totally makes me happy that it's Luna Lovegood inspired. I have a feeling I know what will be next, and all I will say is that it will not be bright colored. So we'll just say that. As far as other shop news and shop events, I have nothing coming up imminently as far as things that are open to the public. So I will say that I know I have some yarn going into the shop, like I said, either hopefully it will be there as you're seeing this or within a 24 hours. But I am putting in some yarn specifically for the brand new Elton cardigan that Joji is releasing on September 13th, which is today or tomorrow, whenever you're seeing this. But so that I will have 3 color options. I will have my Cinder colorway, which is a gray, kind of a medium silver gray. I have my new Velvet Magenta colorway, which is a really pretty, I don't have any right here, but it's a really pretty magenta color, kind of bright and fun, but not neon. And then I also have a kind of olivey green called Dirty Martini. So I will have 3 sets of yarn that will be in quantities for Elton cardigans, and it's a single ply merino and mohair lace weight combo cardigan. So if you are looking to make that, then I will have a few color options for some people. I also have a collaboration project coming out next month with Paper Daisy Creations, or Paper Daisy Designs? Paper Daisy Designs. Lisa, why am I going blank? I want to get this right. I'm the worst. I am the worsted. Paper Daisy Creations, Lisa Ross of Paper Daisy Creations. She is doing a Socks of Willy Wonka series. It's 4 brand new sock patterns, 4 indie dyers, new designs. One releases every single week for 4 weeks in October, and the set is a steal of a deal for what you're getting. 3 beautiful patterns for, I think in the past she's sold this set for like $5, which is amazing. $5 for 4 sock patterns. I have created a exclusive or debuted colorway just for her design, and I don't want to tell you my theme, but it is super fun, and it is shall we say it's an uplifting theme, and I think you'll really like the yarn and the design. I'm very excited about that. So that's coming up in October. I will be traveling to Knit City in Vancouver, BC in less than 2 weeks, which is amazing, and I will then be home for a few weeks, and then I will be traveling to Rhinebeck, New York for the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and I'm not vending at either location, but I will be available for hugs and knitting at both. So yes, thank you all so much for all of your support of my little business, and I am so grateful to all of you for continuing to watch. And if you like watching, if you're new or if you're returning, I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up that's right down there. That helps other people find this podcast. And I also would love for you to subscribe if you watch on YouTube. I am considering completely getting off of iTunes and just staying on YouTube. I know that there are people that download every episode. I know. But it is not free for me to be on iTunes, and it is super time consuming. So if the general consensus is that most people are okay with YouTube and iTunes is just 1 or 2 people that can't download it anymore, I may be headed that direction. So feel free to let me know. I'm sure you will. But I think that's it for this week. I will see you soon. Bye.